Bum 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 bum. Hey, bum bum bum. Ladies and gentlemen, KocoSports.com proudly presents 5 stars or better. That's right, Dave Coco and myself, sexiest man on all of Internet Wrestling Radio, Boom Boom here. We're exploring all the matches that professional wrestling journalist Dave Meltzer ranked 5 stars or better, and we're going to give them our own opinion. So joining me, like always, is the huge one, Dave Coco. What is up, brother?
Nothing much. I just want to say, first off, Boom Boom is the star of the show here. Boom Boom has to work so hard. So, Boom Boom, give yourself a Barry Horowitz. This match must be insane for the play-by-play guy and insane for you. I'm just glad I'm color and can be an idiot because you have a task ahead of you, sir. With that said, like, I feel like for this 5 stars or better, we're going against like 5 of the toughest human beings alive. And you look for me, and I just stepped down. Like, you got this, Boom Boom. You got it. I believe in you.
Yeah, he was like that gif of Homer Simpson going into the bushes. That was Coco.
Dude, first off, for you, it's got to be hard because you got to look up the history, and I'm just an idiot. Second, let's give a shout out to the play-by-play guy. Because that had to be hard. And, I don't know who the play-by-play guy is, but he has my respect.
Indeed. All right, kids. So you're going to want to pull up a chair and sit down and get comfortable because this takes a lot of explaining to do. And I apologize in advance, but I'm going to break this. This is honestly, so far since we've been doing 5 stars or better, I didn't think it would be all this difficult, but this has by far been the most difficult match I've ever had to just research and lay out. So let me tell you.
For the record, before Boom goes, for the record, because we get this in the DMs and the comments all the time, the matches will be linked down below. It's like 2057 billion. I don't know what year it is, but come on, guys. Do you not know how the internet works? Go ahead, Booms.
All right. Now, this match here, we're going to go back to All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling. This event is shrouded in mystery. And I'm not saying that to be, make it overly dramatic. It literally is. It took place. We don't know the name of the event. We don't know the name of the venue. But it took place December 6th, 1987. It was a 12-woman tag team match. I'm not 100% certain who was on what team here, but again, this is going to sound weird, but I did the best I could. I looked up articles, and all the articles on this were like, yo, bro, good luck. It was basically what all the articles I could find on this said. This was a 12-woman tag match. It was like a Iron Man match where you earned points based off like pinfall submissions, etc. And so, but it took me a little while to figure that one out. But you had the names of the teams were the New Yorkers versus the Astros. I'm not 100% certain who was on, which side because everything is in Japanese. I can't read Japanese kanji. And I sure as hell don't understand Japanese. I'd love to, but, what can I say? I'm a stupid American. I barely speak one language. So, it's actually kind of funny here. I'm going to get to the funny part. I believe the New Yorkers were Itsuka Mita, Kazu Nagahara, Lioness Asuka, who we've already spoken about earlier on this series, Mika Komatsu, Mitsuko Nishikawa, and if I'm mispronouncing any of these, I do apologize, and Shakiko Nakamura. That's the New Yorkers. Now, the Astros are captained by Chigusa Nagayo, who else we've had on this countdown before, Mika Suzuki, Mika Takashi, Yachiya Harada, Yumi Ogara, and Yumiko Hota. Now, I was trying to find this, and there's really no official link to it, so I had to do a lot of digging, and I found what I think was the video. Now, for those of you who may not know, Dave is actually dating a Japanese woman. She was, from Seattle, and she's Japanese, but she was in Seattle, went to school at UCLA, when their mascot's a Bruin, which is a bear, so which is why he calls her Bear Friend. So I got her to take a look at this. I was like, please, here's who the match is supposed to be. Is this correct? I think this is it. And then she looked at it, was gracious enough, and then sent me a message back saying that there's some minor incidents that it's Yachiho Harada instead of I think it's instead of an A, it ends in an O. Instead of Yachio, and then it doesn't mention Yumi Ogura, but rather Ashio Yamada instead. And if you're confused right now, yeah, trust me, I'm completely confused with you here.
Well, let me tell you, it is a very confusing situation overall. The history is confusing. The match is confusing. Dave Meltzer said it was the greatest match he ever seen. And the match that we have down below is completely insane, fast, and crazy. And yeah, if you like fast-paced wrestling that never effing stops, move over WCW Cruiserweights. Move over X Division.
Yeah, and then it's not insane. Itsuko Mika, but Kazui Nagahori. So, and I started looking on, I did not do Chigusa Nagayo or Lioness Asuka because I'd already done bios with them and their matches, their match which appeared early on this countdown. So if you want to learn more about them or you want to learn more about All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling, I laid everything out in that video. You can go back to that. Dave, maybe you can put a link to that match in there so maybe we can clear up some things. So I started looking into some of these competitors, and Jesus Christ, some of them was like a War and Peace novel. Other is like a post-it note of yeah, they existed, the end. So I started digging around. Now, for the first competitor I looked up was Mika Suzuki. And her bio is extremely short. I did find that she was born in April of '69. She debuted for AJW in July of 1985. And here's a little, and she was the AJW. She was a former AJW junior heavyweight or junior champion, which she won on December 26, 1987. So a few days after this match took place. And she wound up vacating that title on May 15th, 1988. So that was her one and only reign as champion, and that's all I've found about her. Trust me, if you guys find anything on these women, you please let me know where you looked, because I went high and low, looked about every little nook and cranny I could find. All right, Mika Takashi, I found that she debuted in September of '86, and she wrestled until October of 1991. She was a tag team champion with Kiori Mieda. They were called the Honey Wings. They were tag team champions, and they also wrestled for Universal Pro Wrestling. That's all I could find on here. Yachiya Harada, she debuted in September of '86, and she appeared with other wrestlers in the 5th episode of Takashi's Castle, which, if you're back here in the States, if you used to watch Spike TV, that was better known as Most Extreme Elimination Challenge. That's literally all I could find on her. Now, Yumi Ogura, I found a little bit more on her. She was born in September of '67, and she wrestled from '85 to '94. She also wrestled for Big Egg Universe. She wrestled in 2003 in a battle royal and then a tag match. She last wrestled on June 16th of 2019 for Gokuka Matsuri Joshi Pro Wrestling. Again, if I mispronounce any of this stuff, I do apologize. She wound up winning in a 6-woman tag match. She was a All Japan junior champion and a tag team champion. And she, believe it or not, she was also the All Japan Women's Champion from January 28th, 1988 to October 7th, 1988. So she, after like literally weeks after this match, she becomes like the champion. And yet, this is all I was able to find her. With Yumiko Hota, she debuted in June of '85. She actually had a karate background. She had actually won a tag team tournament with Chigusa Nagayo in 1986, so the year before. She won her first title in April of '87, and I think her and her partner wanted to beat the Glamour Girls. Let's see, they were former WWWA tag team champions, All Pacific tag team champions. She did some MMA where she garnered a 5-5 record. She stayed with All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling until 2003. Then did freelance, and she was in a couple of promotions that are now defunct after that. Itsuko Mita, she debuted July 31st of '87, so she'd debuted earlier that year that this match takes place. She's actually credited with innovating the Death Valley Driver, and she would later go on to tag up with Toshio Yamada, who may have actually been in this as under the tag team the Dream Orca. She was an AJW tag team champion. She's most known for her tag team with Mima Shimada as Los Cacheres Orientales. If you speak Spanish, for one, you know that my Spanish is horrible right now, and then two, that's a very, very naughty name. You can go tell your friends, well, one, this white guy screwed it up royally, and you can snicker and laugh about what their tag team actually means. She was active from '92 to 2005, four-time champion. She left All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling in 1997, became a freelancer, went back to AJW '99, won the tag team titles again. She later went to Neo Japan Ladies Pro Wrestling in 2003, and then wrestled. Had her partner was actually retired, and so she came out of retirement to wrestle with her in her retirement match on November 1st, 2009. Kazui Nagahara, she debuted in '84. She teamed with Yumi Ogura, and they were known as the Red Typhoons. She had 21 fights. She retired in 1988. She was a two-time tag team champ. Did a freelance show in 2018 where she lost in a 6-woman tag match. Mika Kumatsu, she debuted in September of '83, and she wrestled until 1989. She also did work with Stampede Wrestling in Canada. She was a tag team champion with Yumi Ogura. They were two-time champions. She actually also became the All Japan Women's Champion in July of '88, and she had to vacate it in February of '89. Her and Ogura were known as the Calgary Typhoons. And in fact, the last 4 matches she had were against her tag team partner in Canada, and her last match was in April 27th of '89. So a few months after she vacated that title, she was leaving pro wrestling. And Mitsuko Koga, all I could ever find her was that she debuted in May 28th of '87, so a few months before this match. Her career ended on July 10th, 1990. She was a two-time tag team champion with Yumiko Hota, and won against her in her last match. They were also known as the Fire Jets. Oh, trust me, kids. I spent a lot of time on the internet. I apologize if I'm boring people here, but I'm telling you, I had to really dig for this.
I don't know if I'm bored. I'm more proud of you. Like I just feel like a teacher is watching one of his kids do a thing. Yeah. The match is totally worth watching.
Yeah. Sachiko Nakamura, she lost the junior heavyweight title in a match in August of '88. Again, next to nothing. I found like photos so I know that she existed, but that was like she had the title. She lost it in August of '88. She has a Tumblr page, and she participated in the tag league of the best in 1988. That's literally all I could find on her.
And the thing is with the internet being there and one company in North America that pretty much dominates the world as far as wrestling history goes, I'd love to see like more historians figure out this stuff and get it exact, because think about how much great wrestling is gone just because they A, didn't keep track of it, B, language barriers, or C, lack of internet. So, yeah.
Yeah, and now if it's Toshio Yamada instead of Yumi Ogura, I did some look up on her on Yamada. I found that she debuted in July of '87. Again, I'm seeing multiple girls that had debuted just months before this match. She was actually voted Rookie of the Year in All Japan Wrestling that year. So apparently she turned some heads. She was also a junior champion. She won that in July of '88. So a few months after this happened. Again, this was with Dream Orca. Let's see. She had done some kickboxing. She had a bout against Anna Marie Delgado. She had some issues here in medical, and she was on the shelf for most of 1990 because she had a cervical hernia, but she was able to return in December of 1990. She got her big shot in 1992 where she wrestled Manami Toyota to a 30-minute draw. They went to two 5-minute overtimes. Neither one could win, but earned her respect. And you're going to find out who Manami Toyota is coming up a little bit later, in this series here. They would actually team up as the 1987 Team Gold Combo. They were all Pacific champions a couple of times. She left All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling for Gaia Japan in 1997. Where she wound up hurting her spine in 2004 and had to retire. And the last piece of information that I had about her was that she ran a bar in Tokyo until 2013. So that is everything that I was able to find. Some of this stuff was next to impossible. Now, Coco, let's get to the match. Let's get to the match itself.
All right, let's do it.
This was crazy. You know what? Since you're the color guy, let's just lay it on me, Coco.
First off, like I said earlier, fast pace, gone crazy. The video quality that we have is old. It's not bad. It's just
old.
A
VHS rip.
Yeah, so it's not exactly clear. The sounds, I don't know who the sound engineer was, but the audience was absolutely losing their mind. You could barely hear the play-by-play guy. The play-by-play guy had to be having a nightmare because a lot of these women, like Boom Boom said, were students. So the play-by-play guy's like, I don't know who these are. These people are. Yeah, the crowd was insane. It was super fast. I love the match idea, but here's the thing. I hate to say WWE should do this. I think more companies should do this match idea. Dude, it is crazy fast pace. Could you see, Coco, go ahead, sir?
I was going to say, the reason why this was tough to follow, because aside from Lioness Asuka and Chigusa Nagayo, we had no idea who any of these women were. Because, and now, this is going to come off maybe bad, and I apologize in advance if this comes off as bad, but Coco, please back me up on this. We had a hard time telling who these women were because they all looked alike. Now, before anybody starts getting out the torches and pitchforks and starts marching to my house, hear me out.
You've been canceled, Boom Boom.
Yes, they almost all had the same haircut. They almost all wore the exact same type of tights. The singlet, it was, okay, this girl is wearing a black singlet with a red stripe. This girl over here is wearing a black singlet with a blue stripe. This girl over here is wearing a black singlet with a green stripe. Oh, this girl's different. She's wearing a purple singlet with a pink stripe. And plus, everybody was tagging in and out and going back. I was like, I couldn't keep track. I'm pretty sure even if I understood Japanese, I'm not even sure if I could keep up with the play-by-play guy. Yeah. I mean, it was in and out. It reminded me of Lucha Libre.
Yeah,
it was just. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's super fast. But here's the thing, and a lot of people are going to want to cancel Boom Boom. No, listen, even WWE, during big Survivor Series matches, they put one team in all blue and one team in all red. I think it's not even a race issue. It's not a woman issue. There is, 12 to 24 human beings moving as fast as effing possible. I think this would be a great idea for AEW or someone that has a big tag division or that. I love the idea. Commentary would have been helped. But even if every single human being looks different, the action is so fast that you need an all color thing.
Yeah,
You
and I
know,
would love to give you a play-by-play about what happened, but it was literally two people go in the ring, they start beating the crap out of each other, they're doing some moves, boom, there's a 1, 2, 3, they get up, there's a tag out, there's another, and then as soon as that person rolls out, here comes somebody off the top rope, then they're tagging out, they're bringing someone in for another power move. I mean, I'm sitting there counting like, uh, they had like a commercial breaking, but they had the crowd hot. I think they had a burning hammer, a pile driver, an O'Connor roll. I mean, this was completely fast paced. Like in Lucha Libre, in some promotions, a throw, like if you throw somebody to the outside, that's counted as an automatic tag, and somebody can come in. It reminded me of that. It was almost like tornado rules, where people were just coming and going, and just complete. And it was hard to keep track of. Now I can understand why people who wrote articles about this going, look, it's really not fair for me to review this because I could not keep up with it. That's how fast things were moving.
yeah, it's there's no rest spots. It is
No.
only 17 minutes long, and the only chance you have to rest is during introductions. After that, it is just move, 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 move. And I wouldn't mind seeing this, but like I said, even if you do this idea again, it doesn't matter who's in that ring. You should have team colors and all that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You should just be like, okay, there's a red team, there's a blue team. I think like it is a great idea. It's a great,
Yeah, because they were
gimmick
awarded
match.
points based off pinfalls. So, I mean, they were like keeping up. They were keeping track of the score. And in fact, at the end, I mean, I could tell they were doing some kind of countdown. Somebody was trying to, get a win, and the crowd, they were doing a countdown. The crowd just got more and more frantic. I mean, they were already red hot, but then they just kept getting. Then they got more frantic towards the end as they were doing a countdown. Eventually, it wins. Team Lioness, aka the New Yorkers, won the event with a final score of 33-30. They got handed a trophy and some certificates. Everybody took a bow, and that was it. I mean, this was.
Oh, go ahead, sir.
I was going to say this was crazy. I could understand if you've never seen this before. And trust me, when we reviewed War Games match last episode, so if you didn't hear that review, just go back to the one before this one, the War Games match between the Superpowers and the Horsemen. That was a multi-man match, but it was it was paced. I don't want to say slow paced because I don't want them to seem like they were dragging, but it was slower paced. You knew who was on whose team. There were spots in there, but this one was just boom, go in there, hit your spot, get out. Boom, hit your spot, get out, which makes sense now because I found out, through my research, a lot of these girls had debuted like that year. So I think that's like a perfect match for them to be a part of because let's say you can only hit two big moves. You're early on in your training. You can only hit two big moves. Well, what do? You get in there, hit your one big move, get the pin, or get out of the ring. Then let some people do something, and a few minutes later, you go back in, hit your other big move that you can do, get the pin or tag out, whatever, and then you still look good. So I like this. I like this idea. I like this concept, and I can see why Meltzer would say, "Oh, this is the greatest match I've ever seen." Because I don't think I'd ever seen up to this point through reviewing this. I don't think we'd seen anything quite like this before.
It's like a Survivor Series match on crack. That's what it is. And the thing is, I'm thinking it could still work today. You definitely, it doesn't matter who's in the match. You definitely have to have the same color, though. Like, you have to have red team, blue team. Like, it would work for a Survivor Series type match. SmackDown versus Raw. It would work really good in AEW, Dragon Gate, and New Japan because they focus a lot on groups and teams. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would actually love to see this redone. I honestly would. With today's athletes, it doesn't matter who the athletes are, what company it is, but it just be clear who the teams are.
Yeah, so first of all, Coco, I can see why Meltzer gave it 5 stars because I can imagine when people go, well, I saw it, it wasn't that big of a deal, but you got to bear in mind the time. This was not made for a 2021 audience when we're recording this. This was made for a 1987 audience, and I don't know if anything like this, quite like this, had been done before.
Two things on that.
There's that factor. I think the match, I can see why it might turn some because everything just goes so fast you can't keep up and there's a lot of pinfalls, so you're having a trouble keeping up with the score. What's really, in fact, if you're not fluent in Japanese, you're not going to know that it's basically like an Iron Man match where you're getting points based off, pinfalls. So you're not going to you're going to have to wait and figure that out, and you're not going to know who anybody is, but I can at least appreciate it for what it is. But and I think if they did it today, and I don't want to say slowed it down, but if we knew who everybody was and we knew what the rules were ahead of time and everything was laid out, I think it would still work to this day.
Yeah. A, this was done in 1987. B, I think you put this match on where people understand what is going on. And I honestly, I know it sounds weird. I'm going to do it the color thing, the t-shirt thing. You do the t-shirt thing. This is a million times better. And on top of that, I think it's not even time. I think you put these women in red and blue shirts or any color variant. You have uniforms. You put this match on. It's still 5 stars. To this day, I still think it's 5 stars. The problem with this match throughout history is there's not much history on it, and it's confusing. But it could be really unconfusing with a color scheme, a uniform scheme. And on top of that, understanding the rules. I think... And then people are like, oh, is this worth 5 stars? I think this is 5 stars now with 1 or 2 different adjustments. I'd love to see the companies that use teams do this match again. I wouldn't even mind this match once a year on a pay-per-view. Build up. Like, this could be AEW Survivor Series. This could be Dragon Gate Survivor Series, So overall, yeah. And not only that, but a lot of people are like, oh, it's not that good. You're fucking lying to yourself. This is 1987. Put in... when WWE was doing women's matches anytime after 20 years after that. Like, put in WCW women's matches 20 years after this. Yeah, so I disagree with that. I think it holds up today. Only difference is you have to understand who's on whose team. That's the only thing that's holding this match back. And I still say it gets 5 stars. And this has to be, if I'm AEW, if I'm any company, I build this match around a pay-per-view once a year. This is a great gimmick match that you could do.
Gimmick match, or you could do it something like on a show, like right around the time of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You could just do that, like have Team A versus Team B. You fill it out however you want. And you could do like a little football themed show because, it did like a football score, 33-30.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. That's a great idea too. And yeah, overall, I find it to be amazing. Now, boom, boom. I know, like, I get distracted very easily, and, I like fast-paced stuff. Could you imagine if there was a wrestling promotion, and they had teams, and every match was this match?
Oh, my God, everybody... Dude, the audience would be exhausted.
It would be it would be cheered out. It would be the greatest over-the-top federation ever. Like, you have a red team, blue team, you know what I mean? Like, have 4 to 8 teams of just giant teams doing these type matches. Oh, but the thing is, I know it sounds weird because they always want to be like pro wrestling. A lot of they go through phases, companies, but a lot of pro wrestling want it to be more sports related. If you had 6 to 8 teams of wrestlers and you ran a league like this, that would be closer to sports than the actual product is, in my opinion. Team Chaos versus Bullet Club. The Elite versus the Dark Order. So, yeah, it would be interesting. Oh my God. Boom, boom. Madison Square Garden. New Japan, USA, maybe a little Ring of Honor versus AEW and TNA and this style of match. Madison Square Garden. Fucking book it. Half of them come out in white Knicks jerseys. Half of them come out in blue Knicks jerseys. Problem solved. Problem stayed solved. Or Bullet Club versus the rest of the companies. You know what I mean? Like one side Bullet Club, one side Pro Wrestling or whatever they're going to call themselves, the Elite. Oh, God damn it. That'd be amazing. Boobs. I don't know what I watched, but I want more of it. All right, Boobs, your thoughts?
I think we just summed it all up. I would say it's worth it. It's worth checking out. I just kind of hate that this match kind of got buried in the annals of history, and I think this is one worth dusting off.
So we'll put links down below Like, comment, subscribe. We're on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, of course, all under KocoSports. I also play video games on Twitch every day. We do watch parties, and we also archive a lot of video games on Koco Plays on YouTube. Booms, you got anything to say before I give the old like, comment, subscribe?
Well, stay tuned here because we're going to stay in Japan because the next 5-star match did not take place for over a year. The next 5-star match that Dave Meltzer gave took place on December 16th of 1988 in All Japan Pro Wrestling. We're going to see Jinshiro Tenryu and Toshiyaki Kawada take on Stan Hansen and Terry Gordy. And this was part of the real world tag league. So it's going to be interesting to say the least.
Yeah. You know, like when you see a really good TV show or read a really good book, they call it a hangover. It's like, oh my God, no TV show will ever be like that. So you kind of stop watching TV for a little bit. Or if you read a book and you're like, oh my God, I love that book so much, Operation Freak Show on Amazon. And then you like take a while to read the next book. You know what I mean? I wonder if Dave Meltzer had wrestling match hangover. Like he's like, after this, I mean, come on. They had 76 women bouncing around, going absolutely insane, doing some great wrestling. What do you got? And WWE is like, we got Hulk Hogan dropping leg drops. Anyway, if you see Dave Meltzer, give him a hug. Boom, boom. Give yourself a Barry Horowitz because you worked harder on this video than any video in the history of videos. Guys, give a little, if you ever made it this far, just say, love you, Booms. That's what I want you to put in the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll be back soon. With that, I am over.